Zaku, Zaku, Zaku. Hello, it's the Gemin again. In this video, we'll be taking a close look at the different versions of the same kit, the Master Grade Zaku 2 2.0. The Zaku 2.0 is so far the latest model kit of the Zaku in Master Grade form. There are a lot of variations to this guy, but the ones I have with me right now are specifically the Char's Red Comet Zaku, the Black Tristar, and Shin Matsunaga High Mobility types. Check out the unboxing if you wanna. Here are the Zaku 2 2.0s all built up. They look pretty plain because I'll be detailing them up in another video, so subscribe and stick around to see how I do that. I said earlier they're the same kit because although there are some different armor parts, the base of the inner frame for each of them is pretty much the same. And this inner frame is pretty solid. Some great mechanical details like pistons that you can see through the armor parts, which not all master grades have. On top of that, this inner frame gives you some really good articulation, but we'll get more into that later. For now, let's talk about how these guys look. It's kind of a trademark for 2.0 kits to have some panel lines or armor surface detail just enough to make sure the kit looks anime accurate. So there are some details you can fill in with some panel lining markers and washes. You have a bit of extra panel lines for the Shin Matsunaga version because the spiky shoulder armor has panel lines that the other two don't have. I'm not really sure if the other versions that I don't have this panel lines too. But overall, I think these guys look I think these guys can satisfy both the fans that like to keep things anime accurate and the fans that like model kits that have a more modern look to them. Part separation for these Zakus is pretty good. Thrusters, exhaust details, and even the piping on the head, torso, and legs are all there. But they do have a minor drawback. You'll have a lot of nubs to clean and polish on each of these really tiny pieces. I'm just unlucky that I had to go through them in a short time because I have to get these two kits done and return them to the owner. But yeah, if you're thinking of getting yourself some Zaku 2.0s, you're gonna want to build them with some time in between so you don't get burnt out. Or I don't know, if you like cleaning nubs that much, by all means keep building them one after the other. Now as you can see, the legs of the high mobility types are bulkier and the backpacks too. This is where the inner frame parts also get different from the more regular Char Zaku. I'm personally digging the bulkier areas. Just makes them look a lot heavier and I like that for some reason. But these bulky stuff actually hinders some of the really good articulation. Because of how the Black Tristar and Shin Matsunaga custom designs are built, the knee bend only gets a 90-degree bend as opposed to the regular full bend. But that's pretty much the only downside to them. Everything else is pretty good for articulation. Head goes up and down. When you turn the head, the mono eye actually turns with it. But if you want to isolate the mono eye, you can pull the head and when you turn it, the eye stays in place. Because of how the Zaku head is, there's not really any tilts. The torso has really good arching and crunching. Not much for twists or side to side though. We have the cockpit gimmick here. You can open either side and you take off the backpack. There's a switch you can toggle to move the seat to either side if you want. But I don't really bother because these pipes are connected to the backpack and I don't really want those super tiny pieces to slide off and get lost into the abyss. For the backpacks, they're pretty much just there, but you can adjust the thrusters and the flaps. The arm articulation is really good. The inner mechanism for the shoulder lets you cross your arm really far. Since the arm is on a ball joint, you can rotate all the way around. The spike armor and the shield have a mix of a hinge and a ball joint, so you can adjust them to wherever you want. We have bicep swivels, some really good elbow bends with some shifting armor and moving pistons. The wrist has two ball joints and a polycap, so you get a lot of movement there. We have a hinge in the hands. The fingers are an upgraded trigger finger and 3-finger split since each finger has an extra hinge. Thumb is on a basic ball joint. And these hands are the regular 2.0 hands where you have tabs that slot into the weapons. Overall, arm articulation is good enough for some happy poses. Down to the skirt, the front are on ball joints so you can get them up out of the way. Back skirt has a tab for bazooka storage and is on this hinging mechanism that lets you get it up this far. The side skirts are really good because they're on ball joints and you have this extra point of articulation that lets you pull them back and out of the way for some really good kicks and splits. We have some nice thigh swivels. Again, the knee bend gets blocked by the blocky legs. And for the bulky boys, you have these flappy flaps and thrusters. The ankle is on a hinge and a ball joint so you can get some decent twists, tilts, bends up and down. Toe bends up, but not down. All in all, even with some drawbacks like being thick, all these Zakus have really great articulation. For the accessories, we have regular Zaku Heat Hawk, machine gun, some alternate head and commander fin options, and base adapter. We got this lift with the red Comet version though, and for the black Tristar, a different option for the giant bazooka. But for the Shin Matsunaga version, we have parts for the giant bazooka and the prototype bazooka. All of them have standing pilot figures, but we have 3 options for the black Tristar, since there are 3 different pilots that pilot the black Zakus. All these weapons just slot into the tabs in the hands. The bazookas have the sensor that can hinge and open. There is supposed to be a clear piece in there for the sensor, but I haven't put it in because it'll be hard to take out for painting, which I will show how I do that sort of thing in the next video. Secondary handle moves how a secondary handle should. You can store the bazooka on the back skirt, but pretty much pointless for the high mobility types because of the huge backpacks. They have 2 slots where you can hold it straight or down here for a different angle. Although for the prototype bazooka, you can't really hold it over the shoulder because of the position of the ammo pack, so under the arm will be a good option. Speaking of ammo packs, you can take off the machine gun clip and stick it in the side skirt, but you only have one so you'll be holding an unloaded machine gun. For the more creative builders, you actually have bullet details inside the ammo clip. Sensor also has the same clear piece issue. Hinges too, and secondary handle also handles. The Heat Hawk, well, it's a Heat Hawk, and you have this adapter for attaching it to the side skirt. You can't go wrong with any of the Zakus, but the Shin Matsunaga has the most options for the bazooka and you get a lot of tiny people with the black Tristar. And you get the lift with the red Comet. For the stickers and decals, they all have those stickers and dry transfers, but the Shin Matsunaga has some water slides for the shoulder decals. So overall, Shin Matsunaga really has the most stuff. To sum up this review, I would say the Zaku 2 2.0s get a hard squeeze. They are some of the best kits out there. Generally, they have some good stuff that come in the box. They have all the necessary accessories and add-ons. They're simple to build with the exception of those pipings. On top of that, they look great, they move great, and they're not even that expensive for master grades. So if you're planning to get one, I say go ahead. I'll be detailing them up in my next video, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see that tutorial. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye!